So you find most men, they obey the natural selfishness of a man, because men are turned on very fast and they know the pleasure of being inside the vagina. So that's what they rush to. They rush to getting into the vagina instead of preparing this woman until she's turned on. In fact, we say the right way of romance, it is when a woman invites you to penetrate her, not you taking yourself.
You should be invited.
You should be invited. Wow. You should always wait for the invitation. But most men will not. Wewe, tupendane, turn on, kamzuri. You know, it's so casual, it's so technical, it's so mechanical, and so it puts off the wife. Unaona tu amekati hapo. So unaona mumekaa 10 minutes, 15 minutes. This woman has not reached orgasm. Why? Her body is not well prepared. And that's the way a woman is wired. So don't.
And in another episode, you talked about ladies having 7 sensitive parts.
Yes.
And boys having
6.
Yes. Yeah, so maybe you can tell us, are they the same? Because not every woman, her sensitive part may not be your sensitive part. Like maybe I talk about the neck. You may touch her neck and or you touch the neck and she's like, yes, go ahead. So are they the same?
I think it's just a matter of a woman understanding her own body and guiding the husband. Because sensitivity is everywhere. Yeah. It all matters with how. Most of the times when you see a woman declining, maybe attached from the husband, either she's hurt, she has unforgiveness, she's wounded. But women, generally, we love being touched by somebody that we love and we are emotionally connected to. And so when a man is preparing the wife, and this should happen before sex, that's when you're supposed to kiss, that's when you're supposed to touch. Because when you kiss, most of the men, when they kiss, when they're having sex with their wife, they ejaculate very fast before the woman reaches orgasm. So most women refuse during the act because already the man is already turned on. He's already on. So if he increases his excitement, he's going to ejaculate very fast, hence leaving the wife not having reached orgasm. So we always say this kissing, this touching should be prior before sex. You're getting that. Even the breast sucking that the word of God talks about in the book of Proverbs 5 verse 19, that the breast of the wife should satisfy the husband. That should be before the act. You're getting that. You can only kiss your wife or do something that is more maybe sucking if really your wife has reached orgasm and you have not reached. So you want to speed up so that you can reach instead of staying for long. A man can do that, but after the wife has reached orgasm. But naturally, because of the natural inclination of a man, men get so tired. They get so tired, they get so pissed off, so they just want to go and have the act. They see this thing as a very long process. Why should I prepare and the vagina is here? So most men are very selfish because automatic for him you have to reach orgasm. You get that, but the wife may not reach orgasm. So that's why you find most women even not wanting sex because they know every time I have sex with my husband I don't reach orgasm, whereas my husband enjoys. So for how long will you keep on enjoying when me I'm not enjoying and he's not ready to prepare me? So you find most men, they obey the natural selfishness of a man because men are turned on very fast and they know the pleasure of being inside the vagina. So that's what they rush to. They rush to getting into the vagina instead of preparing this woman until she's turned on. In fact, we say the right way of romance, it is when a woman invites you to penetrate her, not you taking yourself.
You should be invited.
You should be invited. Wow. You should always wait for the invitation. But most men will not. Wewe, tupendane, turn on, kamzuri. It's so casual, it's so technical, it's so mechanical, and so it puts off the wife. Unaona tu amekati hapo. So unaona mumekaa 10 minutes, 15 minutes. This woman has not reached orgasm. Why? Her body is not well prepared, and that's the way a woman is wired. So don't say that she should be ready. anastahili kuwa amejitayarisha. Mbona nimjitayarishe? Sikuwa ready, si anajua tuko na game. Hakuwa anajua. Hapana, ikuangi hivyo. A woman is not made the way a man is made. Remember, testosterone is very much turned on by sight. But estrogen needs a lot of soothing, a lot of touch, a lot of, kubembelezwa, until the body is ready. You get that? So most men don't know romance, and that's what we call about romance. You kiss your wife, you touch her breast, you touch her, you touch everywhere. You should not get inside until you are invited. But when a man sees he has amesimamisha for 2, 3, 5 minutes, he's bored. Anataka na imagine usiniingie tu nimalize. So that's why you find now sex becomes boring. And most of the times women don't want it. They don't want it because it's all about him. But when it is more involving the two of you, you feel that you'd want to participate. And that's why for a woman, romance is 10 times better than even the actual act of sex. And can I repeat that? You as the husband penetrating in your wife for her to reach orgasm, it is not important. The greatest pleasure of a woman is foreplay. Foreplay, just touching her. Even before, it is the greatest pleasure. If a woman can get attached, the man takes time to romance her, prepare her. It is equal to sex. Even most of the women you romance and she'll tell you, can we now sleep? She doesn't even want penetration. Ako sawa. And you as a man, you're wondering, uko sawa na sija ingia. Because for you, kuingia ndiyo kuwa satisfied and ndiyo kuwa sawa. You are getting that. So yes.
Yeah, I think vile mama anasema, mama's really brought something so important that people tend to ignore. You see, for a woman, it is more of love than the sex. It starts from how you talk to me, that's why I agree, a woman should be called a baby. I'm your baby and you are not my baby. You know why?
But it's you guys who call us baby.
Yeah, I don't know. It is just a misconception. But I should be your baby because how you handle the baby, you hug. How was your day, baby? Those things. Buju, chocolate, surprise, those things.
Thank you.
But for you, you are my daddy, I complain, that thing, that kind of friendship. So you see, the baby aspect needs you to cuddle, to have that lovey-dovey things. And you find that the woman, even those that complain that they experience vaginal dryness, most of it could be just handled before by the lovey-dovey aspect. So I agree with mom.
That's very true.
To add on that, I'll add 2 things. One, you've talked about Proverbs, a verse about suckling your wife's breast.
Being satisfied with it.
This verse has been misused in Western Kenya, where I come from, whereby when a woman gives birth, one breast is for the husband. Naambiwa now it was always like that. Hii moja ni hata maandiko inasema hii moja. Sasa anatimiza maandiko. Si yeye amesema ni maandiko. He's just practicing what the Bible says, that I should suckle the breast, and they take it and suckle.
No, disclaimer. If your wife is breastfeeding,
breastfeeding,
kindly, as the man, give the opportunity for the baby to breastfeed. Why? Remember, the immunity of a child who is born is very, very low. And the breast of the milk has something we call colostrum.
All right.
And that colostrum is very strong. It has all the nutrients, all the immunity, all what a child needs for growth. And so when you suckle the breast of your wife and the child does not get enough, remember the immunity of this child is quite low. So you will deprive the baby from all the nutrients, because breast milk is the best milk in the world. There's no other milk best like the breast milk, because it has everything. It may look watery, but it's very, very rich. And so it has all the immunity, everything, name anything, all the fat that the child needs, all the energy, all the proteins. It's a very well balanced thing. And that's why when our child is born, we always encourage mothers to make sure that they breastfeed exclusively for 6 months. Without giving anything else. So that the child can grow. And this, can you imagine, that thing that looks like milk makes a child add weight. You get this child is not eating, But this child was born with 2 kgs. When you go to the clinic, 4 kgs, you go again, 8 kgs, 10 kgs.
Yeah.
It tells you
Breastfeeding only.
that thing that looks water is not just water. This is real food.
It is rich.
It's very rich with everything. So I encourage the men, since most of the children will breastfeed 1 year, 2 years, please allow your wife to breastfeed. And after now, she's done like me. And now for me, I'm done. I stopped breastfeeding many years, over 10 years ago. So then this breast now belongs to you. But as long as the mother is breastfeeding, hold on your appetite.
Kuna wamama naonanga wanasema mtoto amekataa kunyonya. Sasa akikataa kunyonya, hiyo maziwa badala ipotee.
Hapo ni sawa. Lakini isikue routine.
As a breastfeeding mom, I would want to tell another breastfeeding dad, a dad who is having a breastfeeding mom, that the art of suckling for a dad with a wife is not the same suckling for the baby.
Yes.
Like our routine has continued, only that he still does the same, but after the baby has breastfed, and we are sure there is no milk. So the satisfaction from the breast that the Bible says is not you going to withdraw. It is even irritating. What is meant is just use your tongue
to stimulate it.
Yeah, something like that. But some mtu pale Western anasema ati Bible imesema, that is being selfish. And then and now sasa mama ameenda ameclarify ataenda I extend 2 years. Asema now mama nani from today up to 2 years.
Akipita kila mtu ananyonya, you're like hiyo ni gani ananyonya? Si ilikuwa yangu. Sasa unapata kunaanza kuwa na vita kati ya baba na mtoto kama angali tu mdogo.
And there was that, it was actually a serious issue, Dad. In Tanzania, it was a serious issue. Men were really competing for milk, like competing for that protein for in the
bodybuilders. Most of the bodybuilders buy it.
Until moms were complaining they can't sustain the two. Some were being kulikuwa na cartels. Wanakwambia you what do you do? You pump out, you express, and then you sell very expensively, which goes against the order of God.
Yeah.
The milk is for the baby, and that suckling is not you suckling hard, just.
And then, ma'am, just on the issue of that madam who asked the question, I think one thing also you have talked about in a clip somewhere is about communicating during sex.
Yes.
And you say that it's always good for the lady to guide the man.
Yes.
Unambia yes, hapo, apana,
no,
slow, faster, come up, wait fast. But I think this, from what I'm seeing in this text, it's like this woman, there's no communication. Anakujanga analala, anamaliza, anaboeka. So even maybe this man doesn't know that this lady is going through this unsatisfaction. And then also, I think it's also how you comment on your man's. But there's nothing as bad as a woman talking negative about your penis. Even if it is,
a woman, when a man comments negatively about the vagina, we also feel very it crushes also your self-esteem. Yes.
So imagine even if it's big, you're told that ukonikirubu hata ikusaidi juu kutumia. You know it crushes you, never even use it again.
Yes.
Or you're told that kakitoho ni kadogo akafanya. So the moment you are on that lady, you already feel it is small because she told you that you're already judged. Your manhood has been crushed. So also I think one is either she has commented on this man's manhood, or two, she has not. They don't communicate during sex.
Very true.
Do you even ask how was it? You told us we should be saying thank you.
Feedback.
Feedback. Asante sana.
Yes, asante.
That was powerful.
Yes.
Something like that.
That's important. Yeah, that's very true. Because I think the problem that we have is because of the way we have taken sex to be in Africa, and also in our country, that it should not be spoken openly. But I think it's a time now we need to talk about this issue, because if we don't talk about it, the internet is loud about it, and people who are just out there to mislead others are also very vocal. And so communication, as you are saying, is very important, even before, during, and after sex. You know, not just during the sex. It should be before, during, and after sex, and also enhance your communication skills, even in other things, finances, when you're discussing about your children, when you're discussing about other issues. That shows that there is a problem of communication in this relationship, and there is a lot of comparison. You know, you keep comparing your partner with another person. I think these people need a mentor.
Yeah.
They need a mentor. They need to invest themselves in knowledge, and they also need to understand physiologically who is a man, and physiologically who is a woman, because that understanding is very important. It's important for us to understand that the reason why sometimes women give a lot of excuses when it comes to sex is because of the wiring of the brain of a woman. The wiring of the brain of a woman, I would liken it with a spaghetti. Spaghetti that is cooked. A spaghetti, you know, when you cook spaghetti, the way it is warmed up.
Yeah.
That's the way the wiring of a woman is. That's what, if a woman has a challenge with the mother-in-law, has a challenge at the place of work, has a challenge with a neighbor, that will affect everything about her. Because it's like it's a spaghetti. You're getting that. So if she has a problem at the place of work with the boss, it will affect the way she communicates with the house girl, communicate with her children, communicate with her husband, and it will also affect her bedroom matters.
Wow.
That's why it's good to have communication skills whereby you're able to talk to your wife prior before. How was your day? No, I had this boss who really quarreled me for nothing. I did not done. Get a brief summary of how the day was, especially those who are working. Even if, because a woman is spaghetti, the mind is connected to this, to this, to this, to this, and so she's able to be toxic in all areas. That's the wiring of a man. Whereas the wiring of a woman, the wiring of a man is very different. A man works in boxes. Anatoka boxi ya kazi, anaingia boxi ya watoto, anatoka boxi ya watoto, anaingia boxi ya mke, anatoka boxi ya mke, anaingia sex. That's a very controlled person. That's why men are more logical and more factual, whereas women are more emotional. And that's why I keep telling men, a wise man, never argue with your wife, because that is her domain. She will defeat you. You can't argue. Ate vile uliniangalia, huku niangalia na jicho ya upendo, and you are like, kwani jicho ya upendo? Just admit. Because if you try to explain and to show that it was not, you didn't mean, now you are bringing more problems. Because for her, she has already made a diagnosis, and she even tells you, I know you. When a woman tells you, I know you, please, that is emotions. Anytime you're arguing with your wife and she tells you, usini mi nakujua, I know you, just know. Now she has entered into her domain. You can't argue with a woman emotionally and win. You can only argue with a wife factually. You use facts, you use logic, you reason. That's a man's way. Wow. But when a man begins to get emotional like a woman, it is a sign that you are producing more estrogen than your wife. You're becoming more feminine. You know, instead of producing more testosterone to remain as a man. And that's why I keep telling men, if you want to have a peaceful relationship with your wife, when your wife brings a quarrel and you're not able to pick it up, just listen. Okay. All right. All right. You just listen, because you are even as you are listening, as a man, you are wondering, so all this conversation is from where? Just keep quiet, because now it is her emotions that are now high. Okay. So what do you ask her? What do you want us to do? Because women can create a problem and they also have a solution. So don't try. They can create and they have a solution. So she just wanted to let you know. So what you do, just listen to and then ask her, excuse me, my wife. So in what you have said, what is the way forward? What do we do here? She's going to tell you, no, me I'm seeing. So in other words, she was not coming for you to give her solution. She just wanted to empty out. So if she has not emptied out and you go to her in bed, you see her not, you find she's funny, she's frigid, she's not welcoming, and you're wondering what is it? It's because you never gave her a hearing ear. So men have to cultivate that, because if a woman does not vent out to the husband her frustration about work, her phone that she received during the day, you know, all these things that are not work, if the husband is not a friend enough to empty out, it will affect her sexual life. And you see, a woman, I would say a woman is the person who is in charge in the bedroom. A man can be in charge in the table room, projects at home, in the kitchen to make sure everything is okay. But when it comes to bedroom, remember, the person who is the queen there is the wife. So you must ensure before sex, ask her, do you have something that you wanted to tell me? Are you okay? I'm perceiving all is not. Yeah, in fact, even I was wondering whether you're going to give me and she will talk like at that 30 minutes. You would better talk 30 minutes and 1 hour. Let her feel relieved. Then after that, have sex. You will have a very powerful sex. And that's why after every misunderstanding, I always encourage a couple, after you have solved your conflict and misunderstanding, make sure you hermit with sex. It's so sweet. It's so powerful. Because it's like it seals up or what the emotions that were so volatile. It's like you seal it up. But when you leave your wife and you tell her, no, don't, usiniambie upuzi, sasa nini unaongea, wajua wewe ni mjinga. So the more you are adding insults because you are not understanding, the more you make the situation worse. A wise husband should never react. A wise husband should always act.
Wow.
Be action oriented more than just reaction, because a woman reacts. So when a husband reacts, it's reaction versus reaction. But a man should listen to the wife and act. From there, ask her, what is the way forward? What do we need to do? Or what is the solution in this matter? She's going to give you the answer.
There's something that this lady said, after all those frustrations, I think the end of there she was talking about like she's feeling like going out.
Yeah, she was asking now that,
yes.
Am I going to live like this?
Yes.
Or is the option that I have?
Yes, and all that. Because anytime you are in a problem, like my dear has said, the best way is to get a solution. And that's why we are here. Mom has just talked about having like mentors in your life.
Oh, yes.
And that's one of the key things that many people
don't have.
They don't have. Before that, people are running marriage the way they think, the way they have read from the media, and most of the time when we listen about relationships and marriage in the media, we are listening the wrong things.
Sure.
It's not about a perfect working relationship. You check even after this, most of the things you are going to hear from the social media or the news about a husband and a wife,
A negative.
it will be 95% it is negative. I don't know when we come to that point whereby, like maybe we have this channel, and other channels, whereby we can talk about the positive part about the relationship, the positive part about marriage. Because if you feed people with the negative, they'll tend to think that this thing does not work. And that's the problem we are having. There's a lot of negativity about the relationship and about marriage.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
And so people have tend to believe that marriage is a scam. Simply because when we speak, we are always talking about the things that are not working.
I think it's I don't know how I would say. I would put it that those whose marriages are not working, they are so vocal on the social media. Whereas the people who have marriages that are working are so silent. So we need to have a campaign whereby if your marriage is working, can you come out and tell us what is the secret of your 20 years of marriage, 30 years of marriage, 15 years of marriage, 13 years of marriage. Because those whose marriage are failing are the ones who are so vocal. They will talk and talk. And so naturally, as it is said, a negative thing spreads very fast, more than a good thing. So what you're saying is very true. We need to come out boldly and begin to tell people this thing works, because the person who originated it knew it would work. So the reason why marriages are not working is because we are not building our marriages on God's way. And when you don't build your marriage on God's way, and God's way means His word, you will have a challenge, because God's way, it is in His word. So if I don't know what the word of God says, the role of a wife, the role of a husband, I don't know how to respond to you with kind words and kind action, we're going to have a challenge. So the problem why we have a lot of divorce and separation and marriages that are dysfunctional, it is because we are creating it using human wisdom, pragmatic, ideologies, sociologist ideas. There's human wisdom. We nowhere do we want to see anything godly, because we human beings feel they can do marriage even without God. But it's very, very, very wrong to have such a mentality, because if an institution, when you are employed by someone, you cannot do without their policies. And if you go against their policy, you are sacked. Then it also means the same. The reason why people are having divorce and separation and dysfunctional marriages, it is because they have refused the godly way. And people don't know the word. People don't have time to study the word, to meditate on the word of God, to act on the word. Because when you don't do that, you will surely have a challenge with your relationships.
It is amazing how emotional aspect of a woman affects the rest of her life. Her entire life is based on emotion, because one thing, a woman is an emotional being. Adding to what Mama has just been explaining.
Spaghetti thing.
Yeah, the spaghetti wiring of the mind and such like. So we just read an article with my husband the other day, and I'm just getting to reflect it now that we are on the show, that was saying that women always have this emotional roller coaster, whereby they throw a lot of tantrums, they create chaos in their homes the last 5 days before their menstrual cycles. And most men do not know. They get they're like, what's wrong with this woman? They get involved in all this chaos, emotional space of this woman, so they become both emotional beings. And when Mom was saying that a man should be more practical and logical about how to handle the issues, I was just reflecting on that article. So that maybe men should be informed to know if it is 5 days before the end of the month, if it is a quarrel that is coming from nowhere, you didn't see it coming, and here you have a very tensed conversation. It is just all about emotion.
Just give us a result, it will be good. Because
some of it, just hug and tell her, ask her, are you okay? Is everything okay with you?
Yeah.
Or give her a peck on the forehead. It will solve a lot of things. I'm not speaking for me.
But you just gave me a trick.
And then Daddy has said something, that the society is so loud on negativity, especially when it comes to family. And these ones makes us to question the moral fabric of our society. People are so negative. People are so much looking for bad things in others, which is showing either you having a problem, you are not a happy person. When an unhappy person meets another unhappy person, they amplify negativity. So I think it is high time we encourage people to find happiness in their spaces, so that they can see positive things in people. We've reached a point whereby when a marriage breaks, we celebrate it on social media, and even we tell people mtaachana tu. As a society, we need to have more positivity, starting from as an individual. Be a positive person. The change starts with you. And also we can the reason why we have most of it negative on social media is because the people with positive voices are so quiet. They are so indifferent. They don't give a damn. They're like, as long as I'm doing well, it doesn't matter. But it should be like, people are talking the positive things. You find like there is when you go to social media and somebody makes a post, when the first person, second person, and the third person comments positively, the rest of the comments will be positive. But if a person comes with a negative comment, hapo juu, hizi zingine zitafuata. It is a mob psychology that when a positive person speaks up, maybe we'll have less voice of negativity. So if you are having a positive energy around your family and marriage, and you want to inspire the people, don't keep that goal to yourself. Come out and share your story. Or even if you can't share your story as a person, if you see somebody has posted something positive about family, come and comment. And with that, you amplify that voice. So that is mine today. I'm just happy we are being helped. You're being helped. I'm being helped. May God bless you and your families.
Wow. That was powerful. Amen. Thank you for that. I think what you've said, we have this tendency of copying other people's behaviors and emotions. If someone is unhappy, you also copy that unhappy, then you comment unhappily, which is very bad. And then also number two, media is really propelling bad news than good news. Like if you listen to radios in the morning, most programs are always about my wife left me, sijui women are just the same, men are dogs, sijui me, I'm cheating on my wife. Those testimonies are also just running on the show every morning. And I think they're also even giving young men fear of getting into marriage. And also those who are in marriage, most people are not even very sure. Hata kama wanafanya poa, anasema may go and speak positive, then kiniaribikie. But it's just good to just remain positive. And then finally, I'll just say that we have said it's good to be communicating in our marriages, especially when it comes to sex issues. Communicate with your partner. Tell her or tell him, I don't like how you are doing it this way. Can you try this style also? Because if it is small, maybe one style may not favor you, but another style may favor you. Can you find out which style is favorable with the small machine that he has, or the big that he has that can favor you? And then also, can you also talk as a woman? Tell him, I think when you do this, I don't enjoy it, but when you do it like this, I enjoy it. Let us educate each other. Let us not assume that because when this lady is coming from their home, their parent never maybe told them about how these things are done. So don't assume that she knows these things. Also, men, we were not taught, no one taught us. So let us also be able to learn from our spouse. Ask them after the game, how was it? Do you think I should improve anywhere else? Did I go well? Was it faster? Was it slower? Do you want it faster or slower? And then from that we'll be able to learn. Then we'll not be having these issues that are coming whereby you just you are dying in silence. You want to talk about your spouse, then you go and post, then you say, hide my ID. Let us avoid such things. So having said that, I thank you so much for being part of this show today. Until next time, this is
Naked and Not Ashamed Show.